history. It will change 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 history. That will be the most beautiful day.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning back in this evening for our Ukraine War Report of for May 17th of 2022. Again, it's a Tuesday here, currently 8 p.m. here on the East Coast in the United States, currently about 3 a.m. in Ukraine, Kiev time. Again, big welcome to everybody that has stopped by this evening. To the live stream here. I see quite a few familiar faces, as usual. There's quite a few new faces in there as well. Rodney Miller, thank you so much for tuning in. Mythical. Tiger Eye, nice to see you. Lost B83, Caps Lock. Pyrotech, thank you so much for tuning in. Stephen Gregory, to everybody that is tuning in tonight, thank you guys so much for stopping by. Also, before we start, quick shout out to my mods that are hanging out in both the live chats and over on the Discord server. We got Tango down in the live chat here tonight. We also have Fancy Hat as well. Again, guys, big shout out. Thank you so much for tuning in this evening. Glad to have you on. And again, thank you for helping out in the live chats there. AC says, hey, Nemico, haven't been able to catch many live streams lately, but I still watch the recordings. Thank you so much, AC, for tuning in. Glad you've been catching those reports. Again, to everybody that's unable to catch the live report here on the stream live, we do record it and upload it to our YouTube channel after it's done here live at youtube.com/Nemico Network. Again, as usual, we're going to start our night off by going through the most recent headlines, the big key topic here, headlines from about the past 12 hours or so. After that, we're going to switch over, as usual, to our situation room over on our community Discord server. Take a look at some of the community aggregated reporting from about the past 12 to 24 hours. After that is done, we're going to take a look into our open source reporting here over on liveuamap.com, which you see on the screen behind me currently. And we might look at a few of our other open source a little bit of our other open source venues there as well. We might look at Flight Radar, might look at some of our naval radar stuff tonight as well if we have time. Again, we're going to start tonight with our main headline topics. Without further ado, Ukraine's last stand in Mariupol appears to be over. Its last stand at that Avastal Steelworks factory in Mariupol as fighters hold up in that steel mill, laid down their arms after an almost 3-month Russian siege of that southern port city. Since Monday, more than 260 Ukrainian soldiers, including 53 seriously injured, have been evacuated to Russian-occupied territory in eastern Ukraine, expected to, again, be exchanged in a prisoner-of-war swap in the coming days and weeks. More fighters in the plant's catacombs await a similar evacuation, so there are still soldiers there. There is kind of a temporary ceasefire here that we're getting reports on now. There's kind of a ceasefire, and that those fighters have laid down their arms there, and that they are looking to again get evacuated and taken in as prisoners of war. Again, by these Russian forces there in Mariupol. Again, Ukraine said that the fighters had completed their mission, with Ukrainian officials expressing hope they would soon return in a, quote, prisoner of war exchange. So again, guys, the chapter in Mariupol now, again, has reportedly come to a close here. It's been grinding on for months now in that port city. It's been a very bloody battle. The Ukrainians held out for a very long while, and longer than I think many people expected them to, especially once they got into the steelworks there. We know that there was quite a few civilians that were taking refuge there in that destroyed steelworks factory for quite some time. Again, now they've evacuated people. They're evacuating people out of there now. Again, so this is kind of a surrender that has happened in Mariupol there at that Avestal Steelworks factory. Historically neutral Finland and Sweden have moved forward with their bids to join NATO, as Turkey stands in opposition to the plan, which requires unanimous support of all 30 NATO members. This week, Turkey's foreign minister is slated to meet with Secretary of State Anthony Blinken. And President Biden will meet with Finnish President Sauli Niinisto and Swedish Prime Minister Magdalena Andersson again later this week. The International Criminal Court dispatched what it called, quote, the largest ever single-field deployment of war crime investigators to Ukraine. The team includes 42 investigators, forensic experts, and support staff to gather potential evidence in, quote, a manner that strengthens its admissibility in future proceedings. The prosecutor at the Hague-based international tribunal opened an investigation into potential war crimes committed by Russian troops in Ukraine shortly after the invasion began. That was back on the 24th of February. Again, so they have dispatched, again, what they're calling the largest ever single-field deployment of war crime investigators, again, in the country of Ukraine. Access denied says, hope it didn't miss much. Just noticed the stream. We're just getting started here. Access denied. I'm going through our main headline, our main topic, key topic headlines for this evening, for about the past 12 hours or so. The Cannes Film Festival began with a live video address from Ukraine's President Vladimir Zelensky. He delivered an emotional speech urging filmmakers to stand in vocal opposition to dictators, recalling Charlie Chaplin's film The Great Dictator, which confronted Nazism. The festival, again, has banned Russians with links to the government from attending that Cannes Film Festival. In an address marking Greece's anniversary of independence, Greek Prime Minister Kyriakos Mitsotakis, again, I'm not sure if I'm perfectly pronouncing that there, my apologies, spoke to the U.S. Congress, saying the Ukrainian people are fighting for freedom as the Greeks and the Americans had done in history. Quote, we stand by Ukraine against Putin's aggression, he said, vowing that Putin will, quote, not succeed. Mitsotakis also met with President Biden to discuss developments in Ukraine and Russia. In a rare public criticism of the conduct of Russia's military operations in Ukraine, a former senior Russian officer has warned on state television that the situation will, quote, get worse. Quote directly from this report here, that official, again, Mikhail Kodryanyuk, again, said, let's not drink information tranquilizers because sometimes information is spread out about some more or psychological breakdown of Ukraine's armed forces as if they are nearing a crisis of morale or a fracture. Again, that retired colonel said on Monday. It's in addition of Russia One's 60 Minutes show. Again, he said, quote, that is none of this is close to reality. Again, speaking kind of, with those dissenting words there, saying, basically this idea that is being spread amongst the Russian media saying that there's this psychological breakdown of the Ukrainian armed forces, that they're deteriorating, that the chain of command is deteriorating, is basically not true. That's not reality, and kind of admitting, what the true reality is, which is that they're losing in many different areas of Ukraine at this time. Again, the facts and all of the open source intelligence that we have, points in that direction, that they are indeed not, they're indeed falling short of their goals that they set out for originally, to say the least. Again, another quote from that report saying, considering that European aid will come into full effect and 1 million armed Ukrainian soldiers can join the fight, we need to see this reality of the near future, and we need to consider that in our operational and strategic calculations, the situation for us will frankly get worse. Again, that's coming directly from that retired Russian colonel, again, speaking on Russian media. Again, a report from earlier today, more buses reportedly leave Mariupol's Avastal steel plant. Again, this was according to a post from Russian state media. Again, stating that another column of buses has left the besieged Avastal Steelworks factory. Again, saying the buses allegedly with surrendered militants from the Avastal plant, accompanied by armored vehicles, moved to the exit from Mariupol. This came from RIA Novosti, again, that Russian news agency there, adding that no shots were fired at the Avastal plant for several hours before the column of buses left. In a report from earlier today, again, updating on that situation with that basketball star Brittany Griner, Russia has denied the U.S. Embassy permission to visit Brittany Griner for the third time in a month. Again, says the U.S. ambassador. Again, Russian authorities denied the U.S. Embassy in Moscow permission to visit the detained American and WNBA star Brittany Griner for the third time in a month, U.S. Ambassador John Sullivan said in a tweet posted by the embassy today. Again, a quote saying, "This is unacceptable. We call on Russia to provide timely consular access in line with Russia's in international and bilateral obligations." Again, that's been a developing story for some time now after that basketball star was detained. I believe that was back in February after they located hash oil, cannabis oil in her luggage and accused her of smuggling significant amounts of a narcotic substance. Again, an offense that in Russia is punishable by up to 10 years in prison. Today, the Ukrainian foreign minister discussed arms supply and the European Union status with their Dutch counterpart. Again, Ukraine's foreign minister Dmytro Kuleba discussed arms supplies, new sanctions against Russia, and granting Ukraine European Union candidate status during a meeting with his Dutch counterpart in the Hague on Tuesday. Again, quote from that report saying, "Met with my colleague and friend at the beginning of my visit." And commended him and the Dutch government for their efforts to defend peace in Ukraine and Europe. We focused on further arms supplies, new sanctions on Russia, and Ukraine's European Union candidate status. In a statement from Putin earlier today, saying that some European countries cannot give up on Russian oil. A direct quote from him from today saying European countries cannot continue to introduce new sanctions on oil and gas markets. All of this is leading to inflation, but instead of admitting their own mistakes, they're looking for someone to blame, Putin said during a meeting on oil industry, again today, Tuesday. Further quote from that saying the Europeans recognize that they cannot completely give up on the Russian energy resources, and it is also obvious that certain EU countries where the share of Russian hydrocarbons is particularly high for a long time will not be able to give up on our energy. Again, adding that the decisions adopted by the European Union and the declarations about a full renunciation of Russian energy sources have already caused a rise in prices for oil. Again, we've seen a lot of signs, of increased oil prices here in the States. Interestingly enough, oil prices in Russia have stayed marginally the same. Food prices, we've seen upticks in Russia. We've seen reports of upticks in food prices, even some shortages in some areas. The sugar shortages we saw earlier in the war were mostly due to panic buying in Russia there. However, their markets have seen quite a bit of instability. However, their oil markets, their oil prices in many rural areas in Russia have maintained about the same prices in recent weeks and have not been rising very much. However, in the U.S. And in Western countries, a lot of those fuel prices have been going up quite substantially. Again, a report from earlier today The operation to evacuate Ukrainian defenders from the Avestal plant in Mariupol, quote, was the only way possible for the rescue, said Ukrainian Deputy Minister of Defense Hanna Maliar during a briefing at the media center of Ukraine on Tuesday. Quote directly from this report, she said, unfortunately, military unblocking is impossible in this situation. There could be no other way to rescue them than the way that is happening now. It was the only way out, Malayer said, again adding that the defenders of Mariupol have fully fulfilled their combat mission in that city, in that port city of Mariupol. Again, due to the defense of Mariupol, Russian forces were not able to transfer about 20,000 personnel to other regions of Ukraine and thus failed to capture Zaporizhia, again, according to Malier during that press conference there. Again, it was because they held out in Mariupol for so long that the Ukrainians were able to, again, repel the Russians in other areas. So that was the significance there. That's why they're saying, that those fighters there, it's mission accomplished for them, even though they are, again, they're being taken captured now. They're being taken in as prisoners of war, again, to be exchanged later. Again, taken in by the Russians to Russian territory. Just to be clear on that. Again, in a vote from earlier today, Finnish Parliament has voted in applying for NATO membership. Again, the Parliament supports Finland's application for NATO membership. Parliament adopted the position in accordance with the Foreign Affairs Committee report after a vote 188 to 8 in favor. Again, the official Twitter account of the Parliament tweeted earlier today, Tuesday. So it does look like Finland will be looking to fast track into NATO. As quickly as possible. They're really moving fast on this. Sweden as well. All of a sudden, they're really looking to get on this as quickly as possible. Again, already passing again that vote there in that Finnish Parliament. Again, that about wraps up our primary headlines, our key topic headlines for this evening. We're now going to switch over to some of our community aggregated we're going to take a look into our situation room here at some of our community aggregated reporting. Again, I was just reading some of the live chat comments there. Just making sure that my microphone is coming in loud and clear to you guys. All right. Okay, so our first post of the evening. Again, really quickly, before we start with our community aggregated reports, I should talk a little bit about our situation room and our Discord server. Again, if you would like to follow along with the reports that we're about to bring you, you can find them over in the Situation Room channel on our Discord server. It's discord.gg/Nemico is the invite link to that. You can find a link to that in the description below. Again, if you would like to provide reports to the live streams, if you'd like to, if you have any intel reports that you would like to toss into the ring here for these live streams, for these live reports that we do, you can post them in the Situation Room. You can pick up your Intel Analyst rank over in the Welcome channel on the Discord server, which will allow you to post in the Situation Room there. Again, anybody is allowed to post Intel reports over there from any verified source or unverified source, just as long as there is, again, some relevance to them. And again, we do vet those posts as they're posted in the Situation Room there. If things are known propaganda, we make it clear to you guys. If things are known to be unconfirmed, we post something there that we believe is confirmed, and then we end up finding out that it's fake news or something. Again, it's removed from that Situation Room so that we are making sure to bring you guys the most relevant information. Again, you can find that in our Situation Room channel over on the Discord server. We're going to switch over here to our large screen so that we can see these a little bit closer. Okay. All right. So we're on our open source map here. Our first post of the evening this comes from Rat Lady on the Discord here in the Situation Room. This is a tweet here. Comes from an unverified Twitter source. So I can really get this sign up wall out of the way here. Okay. I'm going to try to go back to I'm trying to find the original tweet here. Oh, somebody tweeted this at me, actually. Okay, I didn't see this. Yeah, I'm trying to get the link to the original tweet open here. Of the footage. Okay. Yeah, 1 second here, guys, while I get this footage here for you. I'm going to have to track it down. I'm pretty sure, hold on. Let's see. Okay, so, yeah, I don't actually see the original tweet here. Relative, if you could send me a link to the original tweet, I can get that up on screen here. I'm having a hard time finding it. Yeah, I want to find the original tweet. Somebody retweeted it at me. However, I'd like to find the original tweet. I'm not sure exactly which tweet it is that they're referencing there. Yeah, the one I have on screen. Okay, she sent it over. Awesome, so I can show this here. So it was this one. I wasn't sure which one they were speaking about. Okay, so it is this one here. So this was, yeah, so when you sent it to me like that, I couldn't actually, it linked back to his page there, but not the specific tweet there that they were talking about. Okay, but here we have it here. Ukrainian jet fighters hitting Russian positions on a very low height. Very professional job. Let's take a look. Let's get our audio up here. Oh, wow, okay. All right, I'm going to turn my volume up here a little bit too so I can hear this. Okay, so you can see them using flares there. Flying extremely low there. So they're hitting Russian positions again from a very low altitude here. You can see them using flares there again. Interesting. Again, a shout out to Dee Brown on Twitter for tweeting this at me. I actually don't use Twitter, guys. So to everybody that tweets at the Nemico Network, I haven't used that page in like a year. I might start tweeting to there soon. I haven't totally abandoned the account over there, but I might actually reactivate that and start tweeting over there maybe. Again, thank you to Rat Lady and Dee Brown for posting those. Let me get back over to my situation room here. Yeah, I actually wasn't able to identify what jet they were flying there. It was moving pretty fast. It's kind of hard to tell. So our next post here comes from longtime contributor, Lords of Acid, over on the Situation Room. Again, this is from D Enemy, a verified Twitter user here. Saying something exploded in Kharkiv. Warning, very loud sound. Let's take a look. Well, rest in peace to all. Sorry about that. Rest in peace to all of my headphone users there. That was indeed a very loud sound. I guess to be fair, they did warn us. Anyway, you see the flash at the beginning, which I find interesting. Again, this came from 6:08 p.m., so just a short while ago. And also along here, we have this coming from another Twitter source here, saying that Kharkiv has been shelled again. Again, when we get over into live UA map, I guarantee we'll see. Actually, I'm not seeing anything from the last 2 hours here. I might need to refresh that, though. We might need to get that refreshed. In fact, I'll go ahead and do that now. I'll do that while we're getting the next. If it wants to respond. There we go. Yeah, it's not. It's not wanting to behave. All right, here we go. So, yeah, I still don't see. Live UA map actually might be a little bit behind here tonight, guys. It looks like we're missing some posts here from the past few hours. It could be that those reports just have not come in on live UA map, though, yet. Actually, a user just messaged me over, said trying to join the Intel analyst to post updates in the situation room. I'm not sure if this is the right place to ask. Actually, Rec, you can go over to the welcome channel on the Discord server. There's the welcome channel there, and there's kind of a list of all the ranks. You can hit the little button there, the little icon, to pick up your Intel analyst rank, and that will allow you to post over there in the situation room. Anybody is actually welcome to do that, just as long as they're posting relevant information. If you feel you have something that would be worthwhile to mention here on the live reports, by all means, send it over. We'd love to take a look at it. Everything from flight radar activity, naval stuff. You guys hear about it, you see a post somewhere or an article you think is relevant. Whatever. Feel free to post it. We'd love to see it, and we'd love to cover it here on the show. Green Doggo, next post here from Green Doggo on the Situation Room. This comes from the Moscow Times. It's talking about 3 Russian military recruitment offices have been attacked. Again, I'll read you kind of a little bit here from the article. Again, saying 3 Russian military recruitment offices were attacked over the weekend amid an uptick of violence against the facilities following Moscow's invasion of Ukraine. The first attack took place in the early hours of Friday morning when a man dressed in black hurled a Molotov cocktail into an enlistment building in the town of Gukovo in the southern Russia's Rostov region. Just 5 kilometers from the Ukrainian border, again reported by local news outlet 161.ru. Very interesting. Apparently the fire was extinguished by staff members who reported no damage or injuries. Very interesting there. I know we've been showing kind of a map over recent weeks of all of these mysterious fires which have broken out on Russian territory. All right, our next post here comes from Charlie over on the Situation Room. It's a post from metro.co.uk talking about Russian TV pundit calls for Britain to be bombed, quote, back to the Stone Age. Saying a Russian state pundit has told his country's military to bomb Britain's power stations to take us, quote, back to the Stone Age, saying broadcaster Yakov Kedemi said Russia should hit the UK with its Zircon missile, a hypersonic missile of reaching 6,670 miles an hour. He then suggested one of Russia's nuclear-capable Sarmat missiles would be too good for the UK. This is no need to use such a big weapon for Britain at all, he said. One or 1.5 launches from a multi-purpose submarine with Zircons will be enough. About 50 or 60 of Britain's power stations will be gone in 10 minutes, and Britain will be back to the Stone Age. Within 10 minutes, nothing else is needed. It'll be back to the Stone Age in 10 minutes, he says. So very positive assessment from that pro-Russian media personality there. Again, if you guys would like to follow along or read any of these articles or watch any of these videos or anything that I'm showing you guys, you can find them over in the Situation Room over on the Discord server. Our next post here comes from a user named Carbon, longtime contributor. Thank you for sending this over, Carbon. This is a picture here. Before we watch the whole video, I'll read you the description here. Ukrainian forces continue further development of ways to deliver munitions from commercial drones. This time, they adapted fish bait bombs, placing ordinary F1 RGD-5 grenades inside. Note that the UZ-RGM fuse can be modified to remove the delay, causing an instant explosion. Very fascinating. I would love to see a video by one of my favorite YouTube channels, Ordnance Lab. Ordnance Lab, they do some great explosives videos. I would love to see them do some stuff with some commercial drones like this. Wonderful suggestion for a video idea. Again, I've been watching a lot of content and reading up a lot about how the Ukrainian forces are using some of these commercial drone systems to deliver ordnance to target here on the Ukrainian battlefield. There's been some very, I would say, interesting and ingenious systems that they've thought up, again, to rig up some of these just typical commercial drones, DJI, drones, stuff like that. Your typical Mavic, stuff like that, to carry some of these grenades or sometimes improvised explosive devices. Again, let's take a look at the video here. We'll start it over so we can get a good look. So there's your grenade there inside. You can see your typical grenade there, and they've modified the fuse again to be activated by again. Okay, so I think what they do here. So, okay, this is my speculation as to how this works. It's a pretty ingenious system. All right, so on your typical hand grenade, right, you have your pin. Okay, which is located up here, a little metal pin that you pull. All right, but while you're holding your grenade, you're holding down the spoon, all right, which is this little lever here on the side, all right? And so I'm pretty sure how this device works is to load these, they pull the pin, but the spoon is held by the housing. I could be wrong on this, but this is just my speculation here. Basically, they throw the grenade in there, right? They pull the pin to activate it, but the spoon is in the housing, okay? All right, so with the spoon in the housing, the fuse can't actually start. But this little plunger here, the little orange plunger, once it's dropped to the ground, this orange plunger here opens up the housing, which then releases the spring, coiled, spoon there, the grenade spoon there, again, which causes the fuse to start, and instantly they've timed the fuse. They've taken the fuse timing on this down to instant. So as soon as that spoon flies, the grenade explodes. That's, I think, how they're doing this here, if I'm not mistaken. Let's take a look at the video here. So again, you can see there. Okay, so you see they're located. Okay, sorry, they're hung from the drone with this little hook. That's all that is. This little hook is just there to hold. All this little mechanism is here for is just to hold the capsule in the air, okay? This is just basically a 3D printed plastic housing with some fins on it. All right, and then that little button at the beginning, at the tip that separates the housing, allowing the spoon to fly on the grenade, instantly exploding. Again, the grenades have an instant timing fuse on them, or have been modified to have an instant timing fuse on them instead of having like your typical 3 to 4 second fuse that you would have on your hand grenade. Again, let's take a look here. Again, somebody said it's a brave demo. Well, see, the thing is, the pin hasn't been pulled on this grenade. It's basically, it's inert. I mean, basically inert at that point, with the pin in and the spoon on. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend just dropping a hand grenade either way, though. Here, we'll take a look at the. Somebody said it's a fishing device used on carp. Fish bait bombs. Oh, okay. Somebody says it's a fishing device used on carp. That maybe you put the bait in here and then that opens up. Okay, I see. That could be. Very interesting. So they fit a grenade right in there, right? This is ingenious. Fit a grenade right in there. Pops open. And then, so once you've pulled the grenade pin, right? Once you've pulled the grenade pin, when it pops open, that spoon's going to fly. And the grenade, again, with that instant fuse, is going to immediately explode. They close up, just like that. They drop, it opens up, grenade, spoon flies, grenade explodes, grenade goes boom. That's a pretty ingenious system. I like how somebody's comment here says, I don't think I would be showing the Russians how to do that since they are using the same setup with 2 plastic cups. Very interesting. Again, thank you for sending that post over, Carbon, in the Situation Room. Our last post this evening comes from Yoroko Izo over on the Situation Room. This comes from Newsweek.com. It's talking about Russian people surprised to find out Ukraine war not going well on state TV. Let's take a look at this video here. And again, I'll read you some of the subtitles as they occur. Again, let's look at the situation as a whole from the overall strategic position, he says.
В целом, с общестратегических позиций. Не размахивать тут
Don't engage in saber-rattling with missiles in Finland's
какими-то
direction.
ракетами, елки, в сторону там Финляндии. Это вообще смотрится достаточно забавно. А все-таки самое главное наше недостаток нашего военно-политического положения в том, ну как-то, что мы в полном геополитическом одиночестве. И практически против нас, ну как бы нам это не хотелось признавать весь мир. И вот из этой ситуации, из этой ситуации надо выходить.
I would say those are probably the most intelligent words to come out of anybody in Russia since this war has began, without a doubt. Again, to everybody that contributed to today's reports over in the Situation Room, I know we don't have enough time to go through all of them. I kind of skip through. Like if somebody posts more than one, I try to do one from every person's name. As much as I can. So again, for everybody that wants to go and read through those Situation Room reports, you can find those on the Discord server, discord.gg/Nemico. Everybody is welcome to join that. You can find an invite link to that over on, again, the description underneath the video. This video or the stream, depending on how you're watching this. Again, if you would like probably one of the best sources of up-to-date news on what's going on in the Ukrainian-Russian conflict and on a broader scale as well, the Situation Room, and not just the Situation Room, but our many other channels as well over on the Discord server are probably one of the best places, in my opinion, on the internet to get that information, that up-to-date information. Again, it's also an awesome place to join in on the discussions and become a part of the community and contribute. Again, to everybody that posted over there tonight, big round of applause to you guys. Thank you so much for not only tuning in tonight, but contributing those intel reports over on the Situation Room on the Discord server. All right, so next up, we're going to switch over to our open source maps here, particularly ukraine.liveuamap.com. We're going to get this translated over into English here. which is interesting. I don't know why that was in Russian there. Could be the site is having some issues here. Live UA map has been the victim of many a cyber attack since this war has began, so I wouldn't put it past it. Again, we're going to scroll down here to our 12-hour mark. We'll start here at 13 hours. We're going to go through everything that's happened in about the past 13 hours here. Now, note, we are most likely missing a few reports here in and around some of these areas, again, as live UA map does tend to occasionally have some issues. Again, 13 hours ago, heavy shelling on the front line of Voldiyar at Bakhmut. Again, you can see all along the eastern front here. Lots of shelling there. We even have an image to show you guys here, a few images of some of the destruction of that shelling in a few of these areas. You can see some of these buildings just completely destroyed there. You see the leaves are coming out in Ukraine now. We've watched this war go from winter into spring now. And even into summer, arguably, in many parts of Ukraine. Very warm. Grass is growing, the leaves are out. What usually would be the time for farmers to start harvesting, or sorry, not harvesting, but start to be planting their fields and really be working that farmland. They're now on the front lines defending their country, because of which we are seeing, again, a food shortage crisis beginning to develop here, not just in Ukraine, but Europe, Africa, and many other areas of the world. Food prices have skyrocketed. 11 hours ago, Ukrainian air defense shot down a Russian drone over the Dnipropetrovsk region. Again, you can see a picture here of the contrail in the sky from that air defense system being utilized. 10 hours ago, Adivika is under mortar fire as a result of a house on Cathedral Street has caught fire in that area. Again, you can see along that eastern Donbass front there, a lot of shelling reported. 9 hours ago, Finland and Sweden to jointly apply for NATO membership on Wednesday, says the Swedish Prime Minister. Again, we reported on that earlier this evening. 9 hours ago, Russian Su-35 fighters carried out airstrikes on Bakhmut, Kilnov, Sildair, and Volachivka. Again, you can see where those strikes occurred there on the map. Eight hours ago, another 7 buses with Ukrainian military left the Avestal plant in Mariupol. Reported on this earlier this evening as well. You can see the pictures from those buses there, from those evacuated. I believe there was not just civilians on these buses, but there was also soldiers on these buses as well. From a report I heard, there was a small handful of civilians that I believe came out on this convoy as well. I believe we were the last of the civilians that were leaving that Avestal, that area in and around the Avestal, if I'm not mistaken. All of the civilians are out of that area now. There are still a few fighters left in the plant, but this is pictures from the evacuations that occurred of some of those fighters that were getting out of that area, getting out of that steelworks factory. Again, the Ukrainian government saying that those fighters have accomplished their mission there in Mariupol. 8 hours ago, from a statement from Washington, Saudi National Security Advisor and Deputy Defense Minister discusses Yemen truce and Ukraine crisis. 8 hours ago, one person was unfortunately wounded as a result of shelling of the village of Vezmino in the Belgorod region. Again, that's on Russian territory, mind you. That's right across the border here into Russian territory. You can see a picture here. I believe that's damage on a building from some of that shelling that possibly occurred there. You can see the damage, the craters here from that shelling that occurred. Seven hours ago, Macron promised Zelensky to increase arms supplies. Again, that French leader there, Emmanuel Macron, promising Zelensky to increase arms supplies being sent to Ukraine. 6 hours ago, shelling in the village of Tetkino, Kursk region. Again, you can see that here, located on the map. I believe that's also in Russian territory. 5 hours ago, State Department announces the opening of a conflict observatory to collect, analyze, and provide evidence of Russian war crimes and other activities in Ukraine. The program includes documenting, verifying, and disseminating evidence from open sources. 5 hours ago, the Russian army shelled Mariupol this morning. More than 30 houses, cars, and power lines were damaged in those strikes. You can see not too far from Kharkiv is where those strikes occurred. I believe that is the last post we have here from this evening. Again, from our live UA map here, our open source map. Again, that about concludes our report for this evening. Again, for May 17th. We're now going to switch over into a little bit of a Q&A session. I'm going to read some comments and questions from the live chats on both YouTube, Twitch, and Discord. Really quickly, though, again, I'd like to just ask everybody to hit that like button if you haven't already. It's the best way to get the algorithm's attention. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. It's the best way to get notified when new videos or streams go live. If you're over on Twitch, hit that follow button. It's the best way to get notified when new streams go live on Twitch as well. For those of you that are maybe interested in getting a little bit more involved, again, with some of the reporting and some of the intel gathering we've been doing here over on the Nemico Network. Again, the best place to do that, to get involved, is over on the Discord server. We're actually planning a few streams in the coming days and weeks here. We're going to be doing some more streams like we had in the early days of the war, where we were actively, on cameras. We were looking for movements. We were looking for, evidence, and kind of, developing a lot of our own reports. A lot of that activity is still happening in the background in our community, especially on the Discord server and some of our back channels as well. And again, we have some streams and some videos that we've been working on. We're going to be bringing some of that activity to you guys to kind of show you some of that stuff and what we've been doing. Again, I would like to have some streams. We're planning to have some streams here in the coming days and weeks where we sit down to do some more hands-on intel gathering with you guys, kind of take a look at things like some of those flight radar systems, take a look at some of the cyber analysis, some of the naval radar stuff as well. Take a look at what our geolocators have been doing, what our radio guys have been doing over in the radio intercept channel, what our translators have been working on, and some of the other open source reporting, again, that has been happening, some of the open source intel gathering that has been happening, again, in our community. Again, I kind of want to have some deep dive streams and maybe some deep dive videos that we're going to be bringing you guys here in the coming days and weeks. Lostby83 says, Nemico, can you give us a peek of your face? No, not today, but I do plan to have a face reveal at the 100,000 subscriber mark if we ever get to that point. Cindy Duhan says, thanks, Nemico, for all your hard work. Thank you so much, Cindy, for tuning in tonight. Glad to see, again, a familiar face tuning back into the live chat. Patrick Ryan says, if we find life on Europa, will we have to call them Europeans? That's a very good question, Patrick. I think probably one of the best questions that has been asked in this live chat. Speedy Scroll, thank you so much for tuning in. Says, thanks, Nemico. Well, thank you, Speedy Scroll, for tuning in tonight. Glad to have you on. Camelia says, I picture Nemico like Snowden. That's actually huge. I take that as a compliment. Thank you so much, Camila, for tuning in this evening. Glad to see you. Epimoo, thank you so much for tuning back in. Again, always good to see our Scotsman tuning back into the stream every night. Says, don't turn your back on a dolphin. Yeah, probably wouldn't be a good idea. Miss Fifth Ace says, I missed it. Do we have a clue how many stayed in Mariupol? I heard not all the soldiers evacuated. Yeah, they're doing incremental evacuation. So over the coming days, they'll be slowly evacuating, again, those fighters from that steelworks there, from the Avestal steelworks there in Mariupol. Kender, thank you so much for tuning back in. Glad to see you here, as always. Highly appreciated. Thank you for your continued support and for tuning in on the channel here. Virgo again says hello everyone, just chatting up. Hi Nemico Network. Well, hi to you, House Virgo. Thank you so much for tuning in this evening. Again, glad to have you guys all tuning in here tonight. On the stream. Ben Wicker asks updates. Yep, we just got done with this evening's reports. If you want to scroll back, you can actually scroll back if you want to watch the report. Otherwise, I'll be uploading it to the YouTube channel in a few hours here. Every night after the report, I get it uploading. It takes a few hours to process on YouTube, though. But once it's live, you'll get notified if you are subscribed. Shameless Senpai says, still casting in the office. Everyone appreciates your hard work. That actually means a ton to me, Shameless. Thank you so much for tuning back in. To everybody in the office there, to all of Shameless Senpai's colleagues, thank you guys so much for tuning in to the stream. As always, guys, thank you to everybody that tuned in this evening. Patty Wack, thanks so much for tuning in. Says, hi, Nemico, I'm here. How are you? Doing pretty good. We're just getting finished up this evening with our questions and answers here. HM Producer, thank you so much for tuning back in. Again, there's a few of you that are on the list for moderator duty. I just haven't had time here to get all of that squared away. We're still working on, again, getting some time doled out so I can get some of these list items taken care of. I think somebody asked anything on Mehmet. I actually haven't talked to Mehmet in a few days, but I will be touching base with him soon. I'm pretty sure there's a few people here that have probably talked to him over the past 24 hours. So I know he's been streaming quite a bit over on Twitch on his YouTube channel. Go follow him on Twitch if you guys would like to, keep up to date on what's going on with Mehmet. Best place to do that is his Twitch channel. I highly condone people to go over there, subscribe to his YouTube channel, follow his Twitch channel. Again, he's right there in the capital city of Kiev, and he's been a very valuable resource when it comes to getting updates and kind of what's going on the ground there in that capital city of Kiev. Not just that, but he's been, a great friend and a great. Kind of a great personality here, as we've gotten to know him here over the past few months. Again, wish it could be under better circumstances, but I hope to have him. Of course, we have him on the show periodically for interviews, to kind of see what's going on. Before this war is over, I will most definitely have him on the stream a few more times. We plan to actually have a gaming stream at some point where we're going to play some games together. And maybe we're going to set up for a fundraiser stream where just over the course of the night we'll play video games and then donate the money to a good charity. We're also maybe planning a music stream as well that we've been tossing that idea around as well. Playing some music as well, possibly. Bernadette, thank you so much for tuning in. Says, hi, Nemico and everyone. I was doing dishes. Well, no problem, Bernadette. If you'd like to catch the report, again, we'll be uploading it after it's done live here, or you could scroll back now while it's still fresh and take a look. AC, thank you so much for those kind words. Highly appreciated. Thank you so much for tuning in this evening. Patty Wax says, sorry, missed the report. I had to adult. Kids need to eat. Laughing out loud. No problem with that. Patty Wax, you got to do what you got to do, especially when you have kids. Right there with you, man. Sometimes you gotta go make dinner and get your stuff done. So no shame there. Again, report will be live for you. Uploaded as a video, or you could scroll back while it's still fresh if you want to catch it now. But again, thank you so much for tuning back in tonight, Patty Wack. Glad to see you. House Virgo asks, is there a join button anywhere? Would like to become a member? Yep, there is below the live stream on YouTube. If you can't find it, you can go over to the channel, youtube.com/Nemico Network. You can just click on the channel, and there's a join button there. Highly appreciated. Again, thank you so much for the support. It means a ton, and again, it allows me to kind of spend more time, dedicating, put more time into this stuff and bring you guys improvements here moving forward, and again, continue to improve upon this format here, and not just for the live streams, but to bring you more content in the future here, more video content, more live streams as well. I would really like to continue to produce stuff for you guys, and I have a whole bunch of videos that I've been working on, not just Ukraine related stuff, but I have a whole backlog of content I've been working on for quite some time now, to say the least. Really excited to bring that stuff to you guys here soon. Lori says, thanks, Nemico. Always appreciate the updates. Always appreciate you, Lori. Thank you so much for tuning in this evening. Again, and thank you for those kind words and for tuning back in. It's always awesome to see so many people tuning back in here, so many familiar faces. Miss Fifth A says, does anyone know if there was much activity on the cams during the night? There was a little bit. I did have a few things reported to me, some shelling, some explosions. Nothing too huge. Again, I had, again, last night's, on our 24/7 cam stream, we have our auto refresher, which is still a work in progress. So again, sometimes that gets a little out of whack. But I have currently 9 cameras which I've been showing on our 24/7 cam stream that I've been swapping through. Miss Fishy Fish Eye Eater says he's been talking about adding new mods for over a month now. We have I get a few on every few weeks. We add on kind of like a new wave of mods. But yeah, it's been a long time coming, so we got to get some a few of you that I have on the list. We're gonna get you guys onboarded at some point here soon. Tiger Eye 912 says, yeah, and the Nemico crawfish boil we planned last night. I believe that's not the first time I've heard of the Nemico crawfish boil. I would really be interested in doing something like that. I've actually never done a crawfish boil in real life. Yeah, I've never done one. I've never done one myself. I've smoked a lot of meats and I do a lot of grilling. Never done any crawfish boils. Would like to do that. Lost B83 says the intro music is sick, Nemico. Thank you so much, Lost B. I actually I use a lot of my own music for the intros too when I can. I'm a really big fan of Professor Click and his music. I've been listening to him for years, and a few of his albums are labeled Creative Commons, and so as long as you like link back to his site, he doesn't mind if you use songs for like videos and stuff like that. In fact, that's where I discovered his music. Those songs is actually in another YouTuber that I watch. I've been watching him since 2008 or so. That guy's been making music for a long time. Great stuff. Great artist. Good music. Good vibes. Jillian asks, Nemico was wondering if you could live stream the Slavinsky cam, as there was activity at 1 in the morning Ukraine time. Just asking. Thank you. I could see if I can get that up. Yeah, I'll take a look into our cam list and see if we can get maybe that swapped out for one of our sources in the coming day or so here. Bernadette says, I'm 71 and love the opening music. I'm an oldie, but a goodie. Well, thank you so much, Bernadette, for tuning in here this evening. That absolutely gives me the fizz to know that you like that opening music there. And not only that, but that you're tuning in to the stream. Again, it's always awesome to see not just from how many countries people are tuning in from, but just how many different, different demographics, different age ranges, etc. I love that. That's awesome to know that some of this content that I'm putting out for you guys is able to reach so many different types of people. That's absolutely great. Lost B83 says we need subs so we can see Nemico. Yes, 100,000 subs. I plan to do a face reveal then. Yeah, as soon as YouTube sends me a play button, that's the plan. If YouTube sends me a play button, then we'll get a face reveal. That would be at 100,000 subs. I mean, we've already blown past my life goal for YouTube subscribers. All right, last New Year's I was at 200, and that was like the biggest accomplishment I've ever had. So I was like, okay, at that point I had everything I wanted. 200 subs, like I had a few people that cared enough to press that button, right? And so again, reaching over 1,000, that's crazy. The last subscriber special I did was for 200 subscribers, and we're now at 60,000. And so I gotta really compensate for my next subscriber special. We also, coming up here in June, is our my channel's 10-year anniversary. I've been on YouTube for 12 years. 10 years. Since 2012. And so again, I'll be maybe doing a combination video between the next subscriber special and the 10-year anniversary. Tiger Eye 912 says, I don't know, we planned a whole Nemico crawfish boil last night. Games and music. Yeah, that would be awesome. That sounds great. I would totally be down. LostB83 says, Nemico, can you give dating advice? Maybe someday. Maybe after the war ends someday we'll do a dating advice series. Bernadette says 75,000 will get you an ear reveal, most likely, or a cat reveal. Some other people asked about my cat as well. Miss Fishy Fish Eye Eater says, get crawfish and boil it, easy peasy. Yeah, but isn't there like spices? Isn't there like a certain spice ratio you need to use for crawfish boil? Again, I am not a southerner at all. Okay, I tried to cook collard greens. I used to cook them at a restaurant, or I would help prep them. And recently I tried to cook them here myself. I absolutely murdered the recipe, and I'm really ashamed of it. So yeah, definitely not too good with the southern cooking. I'm a pretty good cook, though. I'm not to boast. AC asks a pretty good question here. How much does the surrender in Mariupol realistically free up resources for the Russian army? Do you think it's significant? Well, AC, I'll tell you why it's not now. The reason is because they've already moved a lot of those forces out of Mariupol. There was a fraction of the original Mariupol force, the Russian force there in Mariupol. There was only a fraction of it there originally. Or sorry, I mean a fraction of it there of what it was originally. Again, those forces have moved out weeks ago, so that's why we're seeing this evacuation take place now, is because those Russian forces have now basically moved on, as the threat from those Ukrainian holdout element there in the Avestal has decreased. Mother Saki says, will you please check the Crimea cam for me? Getting some great clips from it. Yes, I'll actually take a look at that here shortly when I get all of my cameras refreshed. I'll be getting my cameras refreshed here before we, again, when I end this stream and before we get the live 24/7 stuff going. I will, again, go through all of our camera sources, see if I can maybe get some things swapped out for you guys real quick. Fancy Hats Repository says, I love looking at my demographics. The vast majority of my views come from people like 35 plus. Yeah, I actually haven't looked at mine too much, but I've noticed a pretty big diversity of age groups and of just nationalities and everything. I think that's awesome. Zal Escobar says, congrats on your 10th anniversary, Nemico. Thank you so much, Zal. Again, yeah, it's been a long time doing videos and stuff. I deleted a lot of my earlier content years ago. Just as I've kind of changed and kind of updated the image of the channel and stuff here. And as we move forward and kind of getting a content schedule worked out, and how I'm going to make videos and what I'm going to post and stuff moving forward. Again, I got a lot of stuff coming down the pipeline for you guys here in the future. Not just Ukraine and not just open source intelligence related stuff, even though we have a ton of that stuff coming your way as well. I have some other stuff coming your way as well. Since the war started, the channel has just totally been consumed by that. But the channel doesn't just have one topic. It's multiple different topics. I'd also like to maybe report on some other stuff, some other topics in the future as well. Miss Fifth Ace says, do you even have crawfish where you live? I'm not actually sure. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'd have to check that one. Demented Chaos says, imagine thinking only Southerners cook crawfish. Well, I mean, I'm not saying that only Southerners cook crawfish, but isn't like the crawfish boil, like the typical boil pots with like the Cajun seasoning? Isn't that like a Southern thing, though? Yeah, as Tiger Eye 912 says, yes, it's more complicated than just boiling it. People's crawfish recipes are sacred. I feel like crawfish is kind of hijacked. Has kind of hijacked our live chat here this evening, our Q&A. I'm totally fine by that. I'm actually about to go eat dinner after we're done here with the stream. Justin Harris says, I'm from New Zealand. I support anti-war Russia. I think we all support anti-war Russia at this point. Lost B83 says Nemico Cooking Network. Yeah, I've quite a few people have joked that like after the war's over, would just become a cooking channel because most of the live chat is talking about food. Zal asked Nemico Network, "What did you do before the coverage of this war?" Well, I've actually been closely monitoring Ukraine for a long time, but I've done a bunch of I do a lot. I have my fingers in many different pies, so to speak. Just me asks, any updates on threats with Putin? Uh, Besides what we had over kind of the weekend, there really hasn't been too much. He did come out and say that Finland joining NATO would be quote a grave mistake. But besides that, we haven't had too many in the way of Putin threat updates. Separate says, I confirm Ukrainian food is great. I want to make borscht. I've never had borscht before. I read the story of Zelensky. He went to the border to have a bowl of borscht during the early days of the war when the Russians were advancing on Kiev. He took a day trip out to like one of the outlying forward operating posts and had a bowl of borscht made by a local cook out there. If something's good enough to risk your life going out to the border, it must be it must be pretty good. And I've never had borscht before. Really, any Ukrainian cuisine that I can think of. So I think I'm going to make some of that soon, just to get a taste of that. Lori H says, "Hey Nemico from Southeast Texas. Hello to you, Lori. I hope it's going well tonight. Pocky, are you in the chat tonight, Pocky? I'm not sure if I saw not Pocky tonight, but you better get that barn door closed, Pocky, if you're there. I'm not sure if I saw you there. 777 Militia, thank you so much for tuning in this evening. Pauline says, great channel, sending peace and love from Ontario, Canada. Thank you so much, Pauline. That means a lot to me. I hope it's wonderful and sunny up there in Ontario, Canada. I hope the snow is starting to melt for you guys, and I hope spring and summer is right around the corner for you. House Virgo says, Nemico, will you continue to report on other news events after the war ends, and if so, only wars? Yes, I do plan to. I don't know if you guys, follow, like All Gas No Breaks, Andrew Callahan, that kind of style of reporting. I would really like to do some of that kind of style of reporting going forward as well. Like on the ground stuff. That's my big goal. I think is to bring you guys some reporting like that. I think I would be good at that. And I would really like to do stuff like that. I really like reporting on. I do like doing military journalism. I'm kind of passionate about that. I'm passionate about the subject. And again, I've been very passionate about Ukraine as I followed it closely since 2014 when the Maidan happened, when the annexation of Crimea occurred. So Ukraine means a lot to me, but there are other things I would like to report on in the future. Mainly, major events, wars. Calamities, things like that. Those will be, kind of the focus. Geopolitical, big shifts in geopolitical politics, things like that. That will be kind of the focus. But also, reporting on smaller things as well. Doing some in-person reporting as well, like what I was referring to earlier, like some of those independent reporters, that we see on YouTube. I'd like to do some stuff like that as well in the future. I wouldn't mind, eventually. I've been thinking about it a lot lately. Getting a trip in order to, maybe go to Poland or into Ukraine, go to Kiev, meet up with Mehmet. Now that the Russians have pulled away from Kiev, go to Kiev. Meet up with Mehmet. I think that would be epic, absolutely epic, to meet up with some of the people that we've been talking to over there. Get interviews with people on the ground, get footage in some of these areas, where the Russians have kind of pulled out from, and be able to report from the area. Kind of get some footage from there. Maybe work out some maybe some documentaries and stuff like that. Maybe some mini series for you guys. I've thought about doing stuff like that possibly. traveling around a bit and maybe getting some footage from maybe doing some reporting on things that are happening, in my neck of the woods here in the United States, traveling around the United States maybe. However, keeping the format and the news desk how we have it, the virtual reporting, I really do like doing the virtual reporting as well. So that's not going to go anywhere. Again, it's easier to do that. I can, if a situation starts to unfold, right, say during the war here, an event happens, somewhere gets bombarded, right? I can quickly hop on and be able to have a news without having to get lighting set up, without having to do all sorts of things. I have a newsroom, right? I have a platform and a format to be able to bring you guys the reporting in real time, quickly, and efficiently, right? That's the goal there with all of that, okay? And so again, that's a really easy way to be able to bring you guys this news, and so that's why I encourage people to do this same sort of format as well with like the cam streams, right? It's the idea that we can all kind of report in this way, which is important. All right, it's the idea that we can all just literally hop onto our computer and be able to set up a virtual news agency. All right, we can all bring each other the news. Okay, news can be aggregated by the people instead of by media conglomerate. All right, where you don't necessarily know, if what you're getting is truth, or opinion based. You know what I'm saying? A lot of mainstream media now is opinion based, all right, instead of fact and intel based. Okay, based on facts and open source intelligence. That's what we're bringing you guys. It's open source intelligence and facts, things that are geolocated, things that are vetted, things that are proofed. And again, that's what we're going to continue to do here. Sam P asked, "Do we support anti-war USA?" I think so. I mentioned earlier, like the whole anti-war Russia thing. I think anybody supports anti-war any country. Okay, if any country that is effectively performing in an anti-war manner is a good thing, right? Okay, people aren't dying, right? Livelihoods aren't being destroyed. I think that we should all be able to agree on that. Unstickable says Nemico Network lasagna cooking stream hype. I would be down. I would be down. Fancy House Repository says borscht is so amazing. I actually have not had it. Yeah, I would definitely like to try to cook that. It uses beets, I think, it gets that red color, I'm pretty sure. Mihalia says hello from Romania. Hello to you. Thank you so much for tuning in this evening. Pauline says, thanks, Nemico. Snow's all gone. Did have to cut the grass today. Yeah, it is starting to warm up in many different areas here, both in the U.S. and in Canada, as spring and summer starts to come on here. Again, to everybody that tuned in this evening, I'm scrolling through all of your guys' comments here. I'm trying to get caught up here. Again, there's quite a bit. And Pyrotech actually linked me over days, a link to days until the 4th of July. It says 47 days, give or take 5 hours. Yeah, Pyrotech. I'm not worried about the 4th yet. I'm worried about Memorial Day. I still have to get ready for Memorial Day here for my fireworks festivities. Nice to see a Pyro back in the live chat as usual, though. Thank you so much, Pyrotech, for tuning in. 47 days. Wow, it's coming up quick till the 4th of July. Doompie with our weather forecast for Kiev. 5 a.m., 6 degrees C, clear sky, wind northwest, 12 to 28 kilometers an hour, sunrise 5:07, sunset 20:43. Thank you so much, Doompie, with our weather update there from Ukraine, from Kiev there. Much appreciated. All right, to everybody that tuned in this evening, thank you guys so much for stopping by. huge round of applause to every single one of you, to everybody that not just contributed tonight, but just everybody that's is tuning in and watching along. Again, thank you guys for spending the time with us here on the live stream this evening. Big shout out to all my mods that helped out tonight. Big shout out to all the contributors that contributed to the community aggregated reports as well. If you'd like to find any links to our sources, best place to find that is in the description below, below this video or below this stream, depending on how you're watching this content. Again, we do upload these reports every night after they're done being live to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Nemico Network in case you do miss them. If you are unable to find any of the links you want or any of the information you want in our description, you can find it over on our Discord server at discord.gg/Nemico. There's a link to that in the description below where you can join. Everybody is welcome to join. Make sure you read the server rules over there first. Again, if you'd like to get probably the best resource for up-to-date news on what's going on, not just in the Ukrainian war conflict, but on kind of a broader geopolitical scale here, the best place to do that is over on our Discord server and the many different channels there, the many different categories there that we have, everything from, again, just intel reports gatherings to what's going on in the world to, again, you can get real-time alerts for when air raids are happening in Ukraine, when strikes are happening in Ukraine. You can get real-time alerts. Again, you can we have a cyber analysis channel over there where you can look at some of what's been going on in the cyber warfare spectrum there. Geolocation, if you're into geolocating, we have a whole niche community over there on our Discord server for geolocating, flight radar, naval radar, radio intercepting, translations, speculations, politics, markets, whatever you guys are into. There's a spot for you over there on the Discord server. That's discord.gg/Nemico. Again, new reports here, guys, every weekday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's our Ukrainian war reporting schedule, guys. 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, p.m. That's 3 a.m. Kiev time, okay? So 3 a.m. Ukraine time is when we're on for these reports for all of my European folks over there, for everybody in Asia, and again, everybody over there across the pond from us. Again, that's 3 a.m. Ukraine time. It's the best time to tune in for this stream. That's 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Again, guys, thank you so much for tuning in this evening. If you haven't already, hit that like button. Best way to get the algorithm's attention. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. Best way to get notified when new streams and new videos go live. Until next time, guys, we have been watching Nemico Network here. Really quickly, actually, though, we're going to switch back over to our newsroom. And I'm going to get the 24/7 cam stream up, guys, right now. And I'll also get this report uploading to anybody that wants to watch it as a video, maybe if you missed it. All right, guys. Until next time, thank you for tuning in. You've been watching Nemico Network.
Something that will change our daily lives, that will change history, 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 that will change history. That will be the most beautiful day. Let me